All right, this dash is ready to go in the car. I'm gonna actually try to get some good footage of this for you guys this time. So I'm gonna set y'all up on the tripod and start this up. Okay, so far that wasn't too bad. In the time lapse, I said you have to bring it in on the passenger side, and the hardest part was actually trying to fish this little corner with this right here over the wiring harness. That's going to be one thing you're gonna have to do. So get it kind of set here, hop in the car, and then make sure that the wiring harness is able to go underneath the dash, because that wiring harness will catch and it'll cause you trouble. So I'm gonna keep trying to finagle this in. I'm probably gonna put you all in a second time lapse while I try to actually orient it how I want it before I actually start going underneath and reattaching the wiring harness. Now that I got the dash actually exactly where I want it, and it's not, you can see that it's not pushed in, it's pulled out probably about like 5 inches. So there's plenty of room to work with. I am gonna now put y'all on a time lapse again and work on connecting each of these hard points up to the dash. And I'm gonna have to basically lay down, do all that. Also, I'm gonna try to plug in some of the connectors that are more into the back of the dash, like the automatic headlight sensor needs to be plugged in, and now is probably the best time to plug that in, and not once it's installed, because it's very hard to get to. So I'm gonna do that, and then hopefully it gets easier from there. All right, guys, the new dash is finally secured in there. I have the 2 bolts on the side, the 2 bolts on the other side. I have the 1 bolt right here, and I have all the clips pushed in. And I also have the wiring harness clipped in both spots here, clipped in all 3 spots over there with those loop clips. And I have the 5 screws installed. I have the 1 here, the 1 here, the 1 in here, and then the 1 here, and then the 1 there. So all 5 of the screws are in as well. So the wiring harness is secured just as well as it was. I had to reroute a few things. Well, not reroute, but I had to route the wires back where they went. So here's the speedometer connectors, and I was able to get this and this hooked back up. The VIP switch I got hooked back up, and the cruise control box is also secured in there. So oh my God, I don't know if you could tell from the time lapses, but this was, it went quicker than removal, because I was a lot more familiar with what was going on behind there, but holy cow, I would say it's just as bad as a pain. Really tight to get to the screws. It's not easy. My mid back is in so much pain from resting on this. Probably doesn't help that I'm heavy, but if you're a bigger guy, this is going to be a very uncomfortable job. It sucked so bad. There's the clock harness, the 2 radio mounting holes lined back up. Oh wow, I just want to sit down and relax for a second, because holy crap, that was not fun. And I still have to get back on my back and install the airbag, but put the steering column back on and the switches back on. That's not going to be as bad. I can do that without laying down. But the airbag I'm gonna have to lay back down for. And oh my God, I never want to do this again. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was pretty rough, but I did it. And you can just see here, look, I'm not gonna close the door on me, but here's the OEM 2000 to 2002 plastic color, and here's the 03 Plus. So it's still a gray plastic at the end of the day, but it is it's a little darker, it looks a little better. But this is just, this color is just boring. I understand why a lot of people want to take their interiors apart and repaint them, because this color is not the move. Toyota, you should have either started with this color or made it black from the factory, because Oh my God. It's like one of the big drawbacks of these cars, but it's a little nicer. I like this color, and it's hard to tell because it's still basically gutted and ripped apart. But once I get all the accessories back on and the rest of this interior is going to match, this is going to look so much better in here, and I think it'll be worth it. But holy cow, guys, this sucked. If I'm being honest, taking off this dash, and again, I really couldn't get my camera in there too well to really show you bolt by bolt how I did it. But again, if you just watch the first video, you'll see where each of those 5 screws holding the wiring harness go. And I mean, I think I did a good enough job showing you where these clips are. There's 2 right there, and then there's the 3 right behind the passenger airbag. So hopefully it's not too complicated. It is kind of nice because this wiring harness does kind of want to fit back in its original spot a little bit. Like there's a little groove here for it. There's 2 grooves behind this area that'll help guide where the wiring harness is supposed to sit. So that all helped. And now that all the actual hardware that holds the dash on is on, this dash is it's a little solid. Hold on. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, it's on there. But I clipped it in earlier. It was like kind of satisfying. I really shoved it in to give that like ka-tunk noise. So it's in there. It's fastened down. So the rest is kind of the easier stuff. But I'm going to start with the airbag, getting that back in, because that's going to be the most annoying one out of the rest of these accessories, because I got to lay down again. But it's definitely going to be a lot easier and more straightforward than this dash was. So all right, we got the passenger airbag on, nice and easy. Just the 2 nuts that are 10 mil, that 1 12mm bolt, and then just kind of fish the wiring harness through, and it's all good to go. And then next, I'm gonna try to show you guys how to put back on the turn signal stalks. So what is nice is it's super easy. You can't get these mixed up because white goes to white, and then black goes to the black one. So super simple. And then you can see how easily these will go back on. So just get them lined up on the rails like that. I don't want to break it. There. Okay, well, for whatever reason they fit pretty tightly on there. Or I don't know, they don't really want to go in nice, but okay. Oh, see, that one slid in nice. This one, not so much for some reason. And they wiggle a little bit. Feels right. All right, I got the steering column plastics and both the signal stalks installed, super easy. And then I went ahead and installed the new gauge cluster as well. Got that all done super easy. I didn't feel like I needed to film that. Super easy. Got the HVAC controls installed as well. I explained in a previous section of the video that, yeah, super easy. You just kind of loop it over there's one. They all are like this. So you loop the eyelet over the shaft or whatever, and then you clip it in. And dark one goes down here, blue one goes up here, and then the lighter gray one on the other side goes. Actually, that one's gonna be the hardest one because it's all the way in the back. But I gotta stop filming, it's about to rain. And I do not have power, and I can't roll the windows up on this thing. So you can kind of see where it leads. It'll focus, hopefully. Yeah, this was not a fun job, and I never want to do that again. But it's in, thank God. And it looks really good, so I cannot wait for the rest of it. But yep, this is probably where I'm gonna end the video. I got a ton of footage, and I still have to do the door cards, and the the whole back there, all the rest of this interior. And I'm not gonna put the seats back in because I gotta pull these seats out, get these plastics out, get the trunk plastics out, and then we could finally finish up this swap. But holy cow, it's a long one. If the Celica that you want to work on is your only car, I don't recommend doing this. If you got to commute to work or whatever, this has taken me a few days and it took me 2 weekends. So I mean, I'm sure maybe there's some of you out there that could do it way faster, but holy cow, first time doing it, that was rough. But all right, I'm gonna end the video here. All right, stay tuned guys, later.